Happy Friday, everybody. I'm just back with some more daily numerology. Today is February 3rd, 2023. In our inner world, we have a 3, and in our outer world, we have a 12. Okay, so yesterday, there was a gestation period. And we're in like I said, we're in a daily cycle, so these energies are like, they move through quickly. It's something occurred. Something occurred under that one, and yesterday it kind of like sat in that soil. It kind of was in an incubation period. And then today what happens is we come into this 3 of expansion and growth. This is where that seed sprouts out from the soil, or starts to, or maybe we just have one little like green coming up and we see it, and that's the 3 happening. So 3 is about growth, expansion, and self-expression. 3 also coincides with the planet Jupiter, which is about expansion. Okay. And in this 3, in this growth, what's happening is that as that like that green is poking out, we start to understand why we let it sit and why we let it, have a gestation period, because it needed time to bring understanding, and it needed time so that as we start growing through the soil, we start to see the beauty of our patience. Okay, 2 is about patience. So in today's energy, as you are growing, you're going to see the results of that patience from yesterday. It could have come in the form of communication, which then really had you see like through things through a different way. Communication with yourself during that patient period, like I said, inspiring yourself to be patient. And within that, you were able to see things differently. And you were able to understand why we're sitting and being patient for a minute, okay? And that comes from love, and that comes from self-acceptance as well. Like being able to be patient and having that within ourselves and being able to take a time out and not rush things, that really comes from the idea of communicating with ourselves and loving ourselves, because we don't need to rush it. It's not necessary. The cycle happens as it does. So today, something comes out of you waiting. Something spurts through that soil, okay? Which could lead to a couple of things. This 3, I don't know specifically. I'm sure you guys have something that you were patient on yesterday. And then through that, we have this sprout. And when the growth happens, a lot of love comes into our lives. Harmony comes into our lives because we see the results of our patience, okay? We really, really do. And that really brings some harmony to our mind and our soul. And also brings harmony to whatever we're trying to accomplish. It shows that as the more patient and slower we are, the better the results are. Things take time. Things take time. The idea of Rome wasn't built in a day. It's really that idea. Wonderful, magical things take time. And yesterday's energy is proving that today. It's going to show you some way how that is today. Okay? And that communication and love within ourselves, we can always go back there when we need to be patient again. When we need to allow the time to go by so that the magic can occur in its own time. It's also about divine timing. This 3 is a growth of that divine timing. When we plant something, we may want it, but we know that it's going to take time to grow and get to where it's bearing fruit for us. And that patience proves so much better in that abundance at the end, because we took the time with it and we cared for it and we didn't rush the process, right? If we're bearing fruit, maybe our fruit, the apples are small, but when we took the time, they were abundant. There was a lot of them. They were a great color. And so this is what this 3 is reminding you and can also show you today. Okay? And then on the outside, we have this 12-3. And normally this 12-3 is about taking a time out for just a minute and stop looking and listening. Because in the 12, even though it's a 3, that stop, look, and listening can create some sort of birth. It can create some sort of like idea. Okay. So that is reflecting back on us, the stop, look, and listen, because that stopping and looking and listening and taking a moment is the support that we actually need. Under the 7 vibration year, taking that time out to go within, to seek the answers by ourselves, we then can support ourselves. And the blessings come from doing that. And there's a part of like self-acceptance in that energy. And we stop, look, and listen. Okay. And that is reflecting back on this expansion and growth today, reminding you that when you take the time to let things be, you take the time to analyze with no outside influence, it pays off in that growth and that expansion. So you have 2 things happening to you. You could have growth and expansion in a thing that happened. We see that green sprouting through today. We watch it happen. And then the 3 on the outside is reminding us that that's happening because we stopped, we looked, and we listened for a moment. And then that was able to create more, birth more, able to see more, expand more. That's what happens in that 12-3, and it's reflecting back on whatever grows through the soil today. Or it could be yesterday that as you were patient about something that you put forth on that new path, on that step forward, you know what I mean? This is also showing you today your growth and your expansion because of the patience that you put forth yesterday. Maybe you didn't always, maybe it wasn't easy to do that, but in the way that things are now, you're really able to stop and be patient and allow the germination to happen. And that's what this is what this 3 can also be about today. It could be about, the green coming through on an idea, a small step you put forth on the 1, and now you kind of see it coming through. Or it's about you allowing yourself to be patient yesterday and showing you where your growth and expansion is today and how grounded you are in that and how you can look forward as the cycles keep going. You can look forward and know that you now have the tools and the ability to deal with whatever is going to come because of that growth and that expansion. If you don't see the green sprout out today, just remember that you're growing and expanding, and it's okay to still be patient. Slow and steady wins the race. It really, really does. Take your time, methodically. Slow down. This year wants you to slow down. Okay? It wants you to rest and recover and see the year, the overhead, right? The energy above us. And so that's going to play a part in this expansion and growth today, whether that's learning how to be patient and seeing the fruits of that, or whether that's being patient and seeing the expansion and growth of yourself of that. Okay. And that 12-3 is just reflecting back all of that, reflecting back that idea of when we stop, look, and listen, what can come up with us, what creativeness comes with us, what expansion comes with us, what growth comes for us. And that's just reflecting back on this major 3 today. It's a new beginning number, but in a sense of like understanding that the expansion is currently happening. The growth is sprouting. It's a great number. It's the idea of taking the seed and putting it in the soil. And then just that green coming. I know I've said it over and over again, but I want you to understand that that's what this is about. So celebrate today, whatever your little green's coming out of the soil, or whether it's your own green and your own expansion, your own growth, celebrate it today. This number is one of also of self-expression and self-acceptance. It's really like birthing that idea of yourself today. So I hope you guys have an amazing Friday. I hope that kind of guides you in whatever you are in your situation, or whatever you are in your plans, wherever you are in your own self-growth, whatever's happening, that's where we're at today. And I just want to put into it that just remember that our patience brings blessings. Our idea of coming in to understand ourselves and what's best for us and speaking and communicating what that is, it brings blessings and expansion and a wide-eyed view as you continue on this cycle that we're going. So you have a 7 of going in, you have a 9-month of conclusions, which this expansion can help that. This expansion today can help that idea of being able to conclude something, because your expansion and your growth allow you to do it in a methodical way where it's not as hard and it's not as difficult to bring those things to a closure. That's another side today. All right, guys. Have an amazing Friday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.